What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Other Half Brewing Company, and they're out of both Brooklyn and Rochester, New York. And this is their Pumpkin Spice Crunchee. So they're calling this one an Imperial Pumpkin Spice Granola Berliner Weisse that is brewed with pecans, pumpkin pie spices, toasted coconut, vanilla, maple syrup, cinnamon, almonds, and lactose. Comes in at 7.4% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in the time of review. This can is approximately 3 months old. And I'm going to give a huge thanks and shout out to a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Dan, for hooking me up with this one. So thank you very much, Dan. Truly do appreciate it. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer bottle unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies Dan sent my way. He sent me some other half goodness, including 2 crunchies, and this was one of the 2. And the reason he sent me this one is because I was like, I'd love to try the Pumpkin Spice Crunchee. In fact, they released this one right at the end of October of last year. And every year I do my 10 Days of Pumpkin on the channel. I really wanted to review this one for the 10 Days of Pumpkin, but it came out a little bit late for that. So I was just like, I'm going to review it if I can get my hands on it. Never got my hands on it. And Dan was like, I have an extra can. Do you want it? Yeah, I do, Dan. So Dan was nice enough to send it to me, and never thought I'd be reviewing a pumpkin beer in the early, well, now it's late January, but basically in the middle of winter. But here we are, and I'm super pumped about it. So there is a shit ton of adjuncts, as you know, and when it comes to the Crunchee series, they usually have the vanilla, the toasted coconut, the maple syrup, the almonds, and everything. But like pumpkin pie spices, pumpkins, pecans, the whole nine. I don't know what to expect about from this one. I know a couple people really didn't enjoy this one. I don't think Dan really cared for it. I think he was like, it's well made, but it's just not for me. A couple other people said it was gross. Other people said it was really tasty. But for me, I just want to see what I think about it. So crack this one open, get it into a glass, and go from there. Probably not going to have a crazy color. It has a weird color. That definitely looks like pumpkin pie puree or something. Wow. It's really... in person, it just doesn't look all that appeasing, I'll be honest with you. It's like an oxidized New England style IPA or double IPA. Yeah, that does not look great. It looks like this murky brown. On camera, it's probably going to be even darker, but yeah, that does not look great. Has about a 3/4 of a finger, 3/4 finger head that is kind of like a very light off-colored brown. On camera, again, it's probably going to look different, but in camera, yeah. This just doesn't look great. I mean, it does not look all that great. Let's get a nose. It smells good. Yeah, it smells like pumpkin pie. Wow. Hang on. That smells fucking absolutely delicious. It smells like liquefied pumpkin pie. Getting the pumpkin pie spices, the cinnamon, nutmeg, like allspice, maybe even a touch of like ginger too. And then I'm getting all the sweetness from the maple syrup, the vanilla. Yeah, maple syrup and vanilla for sure. The crunchy granola base is kind of giving me like pie crust, but not to that level because obviously it's not pie crust, but kind of to that level where it's like, it smells like a pumpkin pie, like, not necessarily a pumpkin pie. Let's just say like a pumpkin dessert or pastry. That's what it kind of smells like a turnover or something. Yeah, I mean, it smells awesome. Does it smell tart at all? Because it's a Berliner Weisse? Not really. It smells like a pastry beer. Maybe a slight tartness. I don't know. It smells fucking dynamite. So right now on the nose, I'm leaning towards this is amazing. We'll see how the taste is. Cheers, everybody, and thanks again, Dan. If you don't like this beer, then it's probably because you don't like pumpkin or pumpkin pie beers, or maybe something just is going awry again. Everybody's palate's different, but well, for what this is fucking dynamite for me. This is dynamite. Absolutely dynamite for me. Again, it kind of tastes like a parfait that you with granola in it, but you put maybe not real pumpkin, but you put pumpkin pie spices. You have the toasted coconut, the vanilla. I'm getting the toasted coconut, the taste. I'm getting the vanilla, the maple. The nuts are here too, like the pecan and the almond. Body in this one is 7.4%. It's definitely thin. This is like higher side of light body, lower side of medium. It's not as thick or appropriate body-wise as a lot of the crunchies. Yeah, we'll say like lower side of medium. The mouthfeel, also not as soft and smooth and creamy. This has more carbonation, more spritzy. Has a smoothness, has a softness to it, but it's not creamy. They're using lactose. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much what I expected from Other Half, from a beer called Pumpkin Spice Crunchee within their Crunchee series. This kind of hits the nail on the head. Up front, pumpkin pie, pumpkin pastry, pumpkin parfait, something like that, where you get the pumpkin pie spices, you get the nuances of like whatever pastry, bready kind of base. And here you're getting granola, but like, you know, whatever. It definitely has the pastry kind of base to it. Pass through the palate. Let me look at the adjuncts. Am I getting pecans and almonds? Yeah, slightly. Pumpkin, really don't taste pumpkin unless it's like roasted or whatever. It's kind of earthy. Not really getting a big earthiness here. Pumpkin pie spices, yes. Toasted coconut, yes. Vanilla, yes. Maple syrup, yes. Cinnamon, kind of getting lost with the rest of the pumpkin pie spices, I can't say. And lactose. Lactose is probably just bumping up the sweetness a little bit. Mouthfeel really didn't do a whole lot, but yeah, I'm pretty much getting everything on the palate. It's like a pumpkin pie parfait, granola, yogurt, and then the pumpkin pie spices and the coconut and the vanilla and the maple syrup, all there. Finishes, pretty big sweetness. There's a ever so slight dryness, but mostly sweet. Really no bitterness to speak of. 7.4%, I can't tell you it's 7.4%. Yeah. Put me in the column of I love this beer, because I love this beer. I can see how people would not enjoy this, especially if you don't like pumpkin pie spiced anything or pumpkin spiced anything. This would be a beer. If you don't like pumpkin spiced anything, you probably shouldn't buy this. But I can see how maybe people think this is maybe too sweet, maybe too much going on. The only thing that I can stop, how do I want to say this? The only thing that is a negative to this beer, or I want to detract from how much I enjoy it, it's a Berliner Weisse. It's supposed to be an Imperial Berliner Weisse. And I don't get much tartness. This is sweet, not really tart. It's not acidic. Don't really get the base. So that could be one detriment to the beer for somebody picking this one up. You really don't get the base Imperial Berliner Weisse. It tastes like a pumpkin pie pastry beer. So I can't give this a 5 out of 5. I can't even give this a 4.75 out of 5 because the base beer is kind of lost. But for what I'm tasting and how I rate, which is to how much I enjoy this beer, it's a fucking dynamite beer to me. So I'm going to give Pumpkin Spice Crunchee from Other Half a 4.5 out of 5. I have to. It's so fucking good. I'm going to drink the rest of that can, enjoy every second of it, and hopefully they release this one next year. Again, the feedback wasn't great. I think this is like one of their lower rated Crunchies. But at the end of the day, like I can't sit here and tell you that this is not a good beer because it totally is. And I'm liking it. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5. Done. Price and availability. Brewery only. They do some mobile can release in New York State, like all my Other Half reviews where I usually mention some mobile can releases, but typically brewery only. You might find drips and drabs here, especially if you live in a bigger city in New York State. For the most part, brewery only. And price point, $22 4-pack, $5.50 a can. I'm sure a lot of people would never pay that again for this. If this comes out next year, I'm buying a 4-pack. Done. Buying a 4-pack. Dunzo. If they do release it, totally getting at least a 4-pack. I might even buy a couple of them. I think a lot of people that I know would like this one, like my good friend and viewer of the channel, Jeff, aka No Jinx. I think he would be all about this one. So yeah, 7.4%. Like I said, can't really tell. I'm going to drink the rest of this. Enjoy every second of it. And once again, thank you very much, Dan. I cannot appreciate, or you don't know how much I appreciate you sending me, especially this beer. You sent me a lot of Other Half stuff that I wanted to drink, but this one for sure is one I wanted to try, and I'm glad I finally got my hands on it. And I rated it to the tune of 4.5 out of 5, which means I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to take off. So appreciate everybody stopping by. Thanks again to Dan for hooking me up with this one, and till the next one. Cheers. Oh yeah, if you've had this one before, definitely let me know what you think about it, because I'd imagine it's a polarizing beer, and I'm gushing about it, and I'm sure there's other people out there like, you're an idiot, this is terrible. And you know what? You're right on one of those counts. Which one? I have no idea. Cheers.